Noisy Pixel.
Hello and welcome to episode 31. We so fun of Unqualified Game Chat. I am your host, Azario Lopez, and with me is my gorgeous, my beautiful, my hardworking, my lovely, my muffin, my star child, my sugar plum, Spencer, the legacy.
Jeff Garland, actually.
Oh yes, Jeff Garland is
Me, Jeff Garland from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I do get those vibes sometimes. There's just some things you say that are very Jeff Garland of you.
Oh God,
yeah,
that's interesting.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's okay.
It's just one of those days, you know.
From the Jeff Garland day.
For some perspective, I'll be leaving tonight for Seattle for 1 week.
Oh.
And yeah. Did you
I
not
just
know
thought
that?
you were like going out to dinner or something. You're going to Seattle.
No. PAX West.
Yeah.
Which is not really PAX West. Okay.
Didn't everybody pull out?
Listen. I don't know if this is that type of show.
Oh my. Oh, crass.
No. There's a few indie teams going. I think the most notable that I've seen, and this is saying a lot, is PM Studio.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's there's not a lot of people going. This is the first show in 6 years that I've ever planned that I've booked no interviews and no I'm gonna see your game, because I imagine that I could just go up and cold call them.
Can. Yeah.
What are they gonna
absolutely can.
We didn't have you on the schedule, sir.
I mean, we have like 18 openings, but
yeah.
no one's here. But
why didn't you respond to our emails?
Yeah.
God. You think you're Square Enix?
Listen, the pecking order here is journalists and then talent. All right.
Did you happen to look at my badge? Do you see what that says? Press?
See what that says? Press? What does yours say? Exhibitor? Oh, that's interesting. They just give those away, don't they?
Can you just go give me my coffee and I'll meet you back here when I'm ready to play your game.
Coke or Red Bull or something, because you're stressing me out.
Where's my candy bucket? If I don't get a candy bucket right now,
I'm not covering your game. Yeah, no, I won't.
I said sugar-free Red Bull.
Oh, they just give that exhibitor badge to anyone these days.
This is that hits close to home, because there are probably a few people who act that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not on the journalist side, on the influencer side for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Oh my goodness, those little brats.
Influencers.
Oh,
you're not dyed in the wool like us.
God, what do you have? You worry you have to pay rent this month? Huh? You don't know where your next meal's gonna come from? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, it's tough being the press.
Yeah, actually being on a payroll, it's really tough. I do get a lot of emails that say that for Noisy Pixel is an influencer, and I know that they're just those cold call like email blasts that agencies do. But anytime they refer to us as an influencer, I do take the time out of my day to correct them and tell them, no, listen.
I don't think so.
do not even think about calling me that.
Don't associate me with them, please.
If the only thing I influence is bathing suit DLC.
That's true. You do have a lot of influence in that regard.
And that's it. And I draw the line. There. Anything else will get me in trouble.
That's also true, probably. To be fair.
But thank you for joining me on this day, Spencer. As you know, this podcast is recorded every week, posted to podcast services on Thursdays, and your YouTubes, your iTunes, your iHearts.
Radio.
Yeah, I know you love the iHearts.
I don't even know what it is. I just like bringing it up.
The only thing I know from them is that on NPR they sometimes put advertisements up for their big concert, and like Pitbull will play, and
yeah, we're kind of like the Pitbull of games journalism.
I would say so.
I would say so.
I would put us in that category.
Yeah.
Bald and in charge.
Bald and yeah. Even though neither of us are close to bald.
No, very beautiful.
But we're in charge.
Probably the prettiest hair, I would say, in the industry.
I would say so.
And
we don't have to do anything to get these looks.
I have to do a lot, my friend. I'm sorry.
I see.
I'm sorry. I used to have a scene cut though. I used to be emo Zario.
God, I wish I was there for that.
I dyed my hair black.
Oh, you were making me have FOMO so bad. I feel like I really missed out on that.
I grew up in the MySpace days, and you kind of had to. I was just trying to find myself. Did
you find yourself? Do you feel that that phase assisted you?
I feel like I still listen to the same music as I did back then. I had the scene look, but I didn't listen to like the scene music. I listened to very underground, like punk and like.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was into cooler stuff than scene kids, but I looked like a scene kid. So.
Yeah, I took their style. But I adopted better music than them. I feel
I was a scene appropriator.
Yeah, I still got, surprisingly, I still got beat up at school. Like
shocking.
Nothing stopped me from getting my ass kicked and thrown in the garbage.
You guys haven't heard what music I listen to. Oh.
Wait. Let me tell you about Taking Back Sunday. I'm sure you want to hear about the Get Up Kids. Yeah, it was nothing like that. I still got beat up. In junior year, I developed a plan to kind of start beating myself up. So like one time I drank pee. I'm
sorry.
Like
beating
I wanted
yourself up.
Well,
drinking pee,
making myself like jackass, because like the movies were big, the show was big, and I was like,
I didn't have that phase.
Well, I'll be that guy. I'll be this persona of like a character that all these people, because they blew up. The jackass phenomenon kind of just took over America, at least. And so I would jump off the roof into bushes and stuff. And after that, no one really wanted to beat me up. It kind of stopped.
Yeah, they thought you were the crazy kid. They were like, I don't want to be on his bad side.
He's clearly unbreakable. Let's watch him. Why would we punch him?
Fear.
Yeah.
If we punch him, he might he might do some weird shit. He's jumping off rooftops. He's drinking piss.
One time I had my friends duct tape me upside down on a tree. And they just left me out there after lunch, and it was like a big joke. But now that I'm thinking about it and saying it out loud, it probably wasn't a joke. They were probably not my friends.
It's kind of weird.
Maybe I never had friends.
Oh my! This is a very introspective episode.
Yeah,
we're looking at Azario's identity, the id, the ego.
Yes. There's a lore here at Noisy Pixel where I sometimes reveal a little bit about my past, and this is just something that I'm revealing to you. A little bit, a little piece of Azario lore. Put it in the book. The great
Put it
book.
on the Azario Lopez main character of Noisypedia page.
Yeah, the protagonist.
It's like status, alive, alignment, good. In like bathing suit DLC, Soul Reaver, dislikes influencers.
Definitely, that's me. That's me.
Trivia: Azario once drank pee to own the haters.
Because if he didn't, they probably would have forced him to.
You can't make me drink pee if I drink pee first.
That's the mindset.
That's
the mindset.
It worked.
I agree. It did work. Enough about me.
Yes.
Let's talk about us.
Oh yeah.
Today, I'm playing some games, but I can't talk about them. It's one of those weeks. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're just trying to play catch up with some stuff. So we're going to address a commenter. Luke Lopez commented, "Can y'all add a segment called Games You Should Play? Just recommendations, And I will say this, maybe at the end of a show, we'll throw out a couple games that we think you should play. Maybe we will start that. But for this show specifically, we're going to do a little long form. little long form about an older game and maybe a little newer game that we think you should play. And then in the comments below, let us know an old game and a new game that you want other people to play too, so we can make this a conversation. But that's where we're gonna go with this. So, Spencer, let me know one of your older games that you think that the listeners should play.
I think all the listeners should play No More Heroes, the first one. See, I was playing the third one for review, and I was like, man, the tone of these games, so good. And it's been like a year since I played the first one, but it's such a unique game. Like, it's by Suda51 for those who don't know, and he has so much style, and it's so evident. I'd say in No More Heroes more than anything else. We talked a little bit about him when we talked about the Silver Case a few episodes back. So if you want more info on him, you can look back there. But you play as an assassin who's an otaku called Travis Touchdown. Already, a lot of our audience can probably relate to him. And you have to kill a number of assassins to become the best assassin, so that you can, using a lightsaber or beam katana that you ordered off the internet.
Don't say lightsaber. Get sued.
Get sued. Beam katana that you ordered off the internet. And there's fake outs, there's genre bending moments, there's tons of comedy, there's like serious stuff it's all balanced perfectly well. And like the combat is so unique that I think you should play with motion controls, because your sword runs out of charge and you have to jack it off to charge it up. And
do you have to do that on the Switch version as well?
You can play with a Pro Controller and just flick the right switch to the right stick to do it, but it's not. I think you're missing out if you don't use the Joy-Cons to.
Because I've only ever played the Wii release.
Yeah, I haven't played 1 and 2 on a Switch. I only played them on the Wii, but they're such odd games, but they're so like they have some jank, and the tone won't be for everyone. But their environment is such a cynical take on like the modern West, about how like it's all about being successful, no matter like you're a big weeb who's literally cutting through people just to be the best. Like, you're not a hero because there's no more heroes. So sorry, there's a phone in here.
Is that a landline? Or did we just get transferred back to the 1990s?
Yeah, my parents have a fucking landline. I keep telling them just use cell phones. They have a landline.
Well, that's a little piece of history for you.
You got that right. Where can I bury this so that it doesn't? Okay, no one's gonna call.
Yeah,
there.
No one calls the landline. That was just a random freak incident.
But yeah, so the tone is so unique, and it's such like it balances this cynical take with so much weird humor and symbolism that there's no game like it. And it's my classic. You should play it. It's available on the Switch now, so you can get the HD version. You can still play with Joy-Cons. And I think that it's worth revisiting, especially if you want to play the new one. I would play the first 2 first. And it's a game that speaks to me, if you will, for how creative and fun and weird it is. And that's my classic game.
I always compare Suda51 to like a Swery.
Yeah.
But
he's like a more violent Swery.
Yeah, I feel bad for Swery because with Deadly Premonition, everyone like loved him for it, right? That was like, this is what we want more of. And then when he gave it to him with Deadly Premonition 2, he totally went like in a direction where like the bad is good type of thing. And like everyone just hated him for it in this Deadly Premonition 2. I'm glad Suda51 knows how to like take criticism and know when people are maybe giving him some bad advice and still do his own thing, because people were giving Swery complete bad advice about how he should develop games, and he delivered with Deadly Premonition 2, but it was absolutely not a good game.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's I like that Suda 51 kind of sticks to his own fucked up imagination.
Yeah, I'm glad that he keeps getting funding to do it, because like creatives like this sometimes don't have that opportunity. So I'll keep playing Suda 51 games as long as they keep making them. But anyway, what's your classic game?
Now, Spencer, I know people will think, oh, he's going to say Wild Arms. He's going to say Persona 4. Yeah,
all those 5 weebs who listen who haven't played Persona 4.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to say Parasite Eve. But no. I ain't going to say that everyone should play The Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver.
Ooh.
It is a game directed, produced, and written by a fine woman named Amy Henning, who you might know from Naughty Dog. And did she ever do a Star Wars game, or did they kick her ass out of there?
I think it got canceled, didn't it?
Yeah, I think they got canceled, and then everyone still praises her. Now, I don't praise modern Amy Henning as much as I do past Amy Henning. Past Amy Henning is in my heart.
I love modern Amy Henning work.
What did she do? What did she do that you love?
Nathan Drake such a likable scam.
Nathan Drake. She took Harrison Ford's character and made a lovable white male protagonist. Get out of here!
Wow, Azario,
get out of here!
You're grumpy today.
Get woke, Spencer.
You're grumpy. You have the pre-flight jitters.
What? She gets on the tail end of Jack's adventure in Jak 3, and then everyone fucking praises her.
Sorry, it just sounds like you're trying to tear down someone. Someone who does great work.
You know what I think of Uncharted?
Tell me. Oh. Ooh, look out, everybody. We have a weeb here.
No, Uncharted's a great game, but I mean, it writes itself, really.
Because of how her talent.
No.
Listen, I do think she did great stuff with making it a fun, accessible.
What? She took Indiana Jones and made a video game out of it.
Yeah,
dude.
That sounds easy, but we've seen when people take a character and try and make a game out of it when it doesn't work.
No, let me tell you. The developers of Uncharted are the ones to praise. Amy Henning rewriting Indiana Jones is not to praise in this situation. You see Uncharted 2? You see Uncharted 2 with that train scene? Amy Henning couldn't do that without fucking 100 developers working together.
When did you become a man of the people? When did that happen?
Azario was born a man of the people.
Oh, please. If they had bathing suit DLC, you'd be on a whole different page, motherfucker.
Listen, my friend. Mm-hmm. Amy Henning career lived and died at the end of Blood Omen 2.
Oh my god.
Let me tell you.
My.
Her work in a fantasy vampire.
You're spicy today.
Her work creating a fantasy world before Twilight even existed. And she was already, you take Interview with the Vampire. Great Tom Cruise film. Amazing work. And you basically create this vampire world, of knights and magic and different realms can't do that in Uncharted. Oh, flashback, real cool.
You have crazy ancient civilizations.
Listen,
and genies.
Listen, okay.
And zombies.
Credit where credits. Okay, Blood Omen, the first one, Legacy of Kain, good game. It established a foundation. But I personally feel more attached to the whole brother of the situation, which is Raziel. And in the beginning of this game, Raziel he's banished from after evolving further than all the other vampires and grew wings, and his brother Kain broke his wings and threw him into the abyss, and he wakes up and he's reborn pretty much.
Wow.
He exists in two worlds. There's the spiritual plane and the normal plane, and at any time you can shift to it, and it's really cool. I believe at any time. Maybe you can shift to it. I don't know. I got to go back to play it. I believe that it's anytime you can just shift to different planes and access different things. Let me tell you, dude, it is such a good game. It is brilliant. The writing is brilliant. Now, Uncharted is fun, but so is Indiana Jones. And that's why I think that Uncharted writes itself. This fantasy world that Amy Henning created through Blood Omen and Legacy of Kain for a few sequels too, up to the PlayStation 2. It was brilliant. It was brilliant story writing. She created a whole world, Nosgoth, and just did some amazing things with vampires and shit. That's why I think that Soul Reaver is a great game that everyone should play. And you should play it because Square Enix needs to make a fucking sequel, because whatever they did with Nosgoth's Heroes or whatever, that fucking online game, was shit.
What if they made a mobile game?
Was it supposed to be a mobile game? No, stop.
Your two choices are MMO or mobile game.
It wasn't an MMO, the Nosgoth thing, but it was terrible. And so I think Square Enix asked some indie developers to do it like they did that one. Was that Fear Effect? They allowed that team to do Fear Effect. The third entry or something like that, but it was like an indie team. So they're like selling the Eidos IPs. So it just kind of sucks that Soul Reaver had to just disappear. And I think a 3D action game would be great right now.
Yeah,
personally. But with that said, great conversation on Amy Henning.
Yeah,
great conversation.
I can't wait for her to see this and then be like, wow, that Spencer guy, he's cool and nice.
Yeah. Oh,
Azario, he's a little spicy.
I remember when I shook Azario's hand at GDC and he was so nice to me. And now
Did that happen?
Yeah, she did the keynote. So I was able to meet her. Meet her in the sense that I just said hi and thank you for your work. But behind her back, I'm a spicy boy.
Oh, you're that kind of guy.
Hey.
You're saying, hey, I love your work. And then you go behind the back. Yeah, she has anything.
Should I put parentheses there or some asterisks to read the footnotes? That's like, whoa, is that Amy Henning?
Amy Henning, she's on the phone.
Yeah, I don't think. I think Uncharted's a fine game. The whole series is fine, but do I think that Amy Henning showed her true skills in that? No. All of her creativity was in that Blood Omen series, Legacy of Kain. And that's all I got to say about that. So let me know, Spencer, my friend, a more recent game that you think people should play.
Sure. So we're aiming for in the last year for recent. So we're
yes.
My pick, I talked about it a little bit on the show, gave you guys a little taster. My pick is the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, because, they may not be visual novels.
Excuse me while I take a nap through this segment.
Oh, you're really spicy today. Holy moly. I didn't say anything about your vampire fanfic. You're coming at me about Ace Attorney.
Listen, I'm sure people wanted to hear more about Soul Reaver.
So spicy.
I think we've gotten enough of Mr. Ace.
You know what? I'm going to change it on the fly then. I'm going to change it on the fly. I'm going to talk about Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Okay. We can talk about that.
Guess what? I'm talking about Yakuza Like a Dragon because it came out in November. That's less than a year. Fuck you.
I mean, okay. Credit's doing Greatest Journey got 10 out of 10 on Noisy Pixel. Okay.
Yeah. Talking behind another game's back, I see. Classic Azario Snake.
Snake Zario.
Snake Zario. Azario. Anyway, Yakuza Like a Dragon is the 7th Yakuza game, but it's a soft reboot. You can get it on modern consoles, and you play as Kasuga Ichiban, who's a big Dragon Quest nerd who was in a small Yakuza family, and he goes to jail for a while for his family, and he comes out to find his family doesn't freaking exist anymore, and he has to adjust to the world while making new friends with people like a homeless man, a retired cop, a lady who has a twin that died. That it's a long story, and a character that only appears in gameplay because she's optional, so she just disappears during cutscenes. It's great, but it's a turn-based RPG, but it's in the modern day. So you have characters with like sticks and big vibrators and umbrellas, and they kind of like awkwardly stand around each other and run into each other and smack each other with these objects. But then you boil it down and it's like actually a really interesting story about like brotherhood and companionship and like class, and it makes you feel the plight of like people experiencing homelessness. It's an incredible game, and it's really funny, and it's very fun, and you can do crazy side activities like fighting a vacuum and playing crane games to get Super Monkey Ball toys. It's the kind of game that you don't need to have played any of the other Yakuzas, and it's just worth trying because it's so earnest about what it is, about being like a JRPG in the modern day and how goofy that is. And it's so fun and so full of heart that I think anyone would get a big kick out of it, no matter who you are.
I think the switch to JRPGs was nice for this game because it fit the main protagonist's character so well. He is a Dragon Quest nerd. If they're going to continue this JRPG kind of style turn-based fighting, he's going to need to be the protagonist for the future games too.
I could see that.
I'm guessing because it's all in his imagination, right? That's the idea. So, I mean, if they can keep him the protagonist for the next 6 games, I loved the turn-based.
Yeah,
I love the turn-based nature of the game. I loved exploring. I loved the long-winded conversations that kind of went on forever, but you didn't want them to stop sometimes because they were just they're just so good. They had good camera angles. They knew because it's kind of a funny game sometimes in a serious sense because there's serious scenes too. But they use the camera angles to sell some of the comedic aspects of the jokes.
Yeah, their timing's great.
Yeah, and some of the story scenes are like static camera, but they'll switch to a character right at the right time, and it just it just sells the joke. With that said, great game. Way better than.
There's a side quest where there's a guy
Attorney.
covered in bubbles and he's trying not to get wet because he's naked. So you have to escort him through a street of people who are throwing water and using hoses at like 12 at night. It's a great mission. I highly. He's trying to get to see this naked man's trying to see his grandma in the hospital. It's beautiful. It's very heartfelt.
I would say try to play the previous Yakuza games.
They're all worth
if only because the world building is so interesting and the time frame of everything. Because in those games you see you recognize the names of the gangs and the clans and stuff and some of the landmarks, and you see them change over time.
Characters.
Yeah, and I think that's the important part, is the emotional attachment that you're supposed to have for those recurring characters, and you absolutely don't need them to enjoy the game, but it does sell a little more. Like, oh shit, I know that guy. I know what he did before this.
And if you play them all and you're like, I do want the action back, Lost Judgment, that spinoff is still actiony. So you got an avenue for each thing.
Yes. Great game.
Great game. So what's your modern game, Azario? I won't heckle you because I'm your friend.
Well, you're going to find it hard to heckle me because I'm going to put on the table and slide it over to you. You gonna take it?
I'll take it.
Good job. Scarlet Nexus.
Now, wait a second. Didn't you rant about this game a couple weeks ago?
I gave this game a 7.5.
Oh, that's the reviewer's 5.
That's the you still want a relationship with Bandai Namco.
Yeah, that's the I want to go to their press events. Bloody games journalists.
No, I believe that Scarlet Nexus is actually an honest to God must play action game for next gen consoles. If you're into God Eater especially, it has that just the combat is so fluid, and I love when an action series, an action game similar to Devil May Cry uses every button on the controller, but it doesn't feel like it. But 10 hours, 12 hours pass, and you're just like, your fingers are just, and you look down kind of at your fingers, and they're just like moving on their own. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
You become in the zone.
Yeah, it's those moments that I'm like, dude, this game is awesome. It stars two main protagonists, Yauta and Kasane, and you can play them in any order. I played Kasane first. There is no bathing suit DLC. I looked.
Noted.
But it's still a fine game, and
we get an 8 if it did have DLC.
It would have got an 8.5. I'd do a whole point. I do a whole fucking point.
Holy.
Like if I'm not reviewing Tales of Arise, but if I was, and I saw, and I rated not on the gameplay, but on the
it's
on
already
the bathing
starting
suit.
at a 6.
Yeah,
starting at a 6 if it has DLC.
Yeah, it's already
bathing
getting that the bathing suit bump, we like to call it.
Oh yeah, that's a classic industry term.
Yeah, everyone says
GameStop. Everyone says it.
We all go by this rule. This is the rule that we use. I think it's reversed for them. If they see it, it goes down, and then
depends on the publication.
Yes.
Yes.
But I just think, in terms of like flashy combat and a really good story that gets more interesting towards the end than in the beginning. I think sooner or later this game's going to be like $20, $15, and
probably.
And honestly, if you can get it for 30 and you just want something to play for about 18 to 20 hours, and you can, that is not going to test your skills or put your timing in a bind or hold you back with any type of padding. It's just like a straight shot from beginning to end for this game, and you're just kind of along for the ride. Nice. Using amazing telekinesis combat. It's the combat that sells it, to be honest. And that's my game.
Nice.
Scarlet Nexus.
Not a word from me. Not a cruel word.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm sorry.
It's tough being the high road friend, but someone's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it.
As for as for other questions, we could just go through some.
Sure.
We have Jaysama, I think, saying, seeing as you asked for questions, what are some essential older JRPG VNs that would reliably run on a regular laptop? I'm thinking regular means like an old.
He gave his specs later.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Intel i5. We got the 16 GBs of RAM. You just download more. Make that 32.
Yeah, just download some RAM. No big deal.
I would say, for VNs, there's this VN. Well, you give yours. I
don't know VNs. Every time I try and name a VN, it's not a VN.
Well, I need to find this game because there's a game that I do actually, think people should play, but didn't. But go ahead and give a recommendation for an older JRPG than maybe a regular.
That would run on a shit computer. This guy 2 is very fun, and it's on PC, and I can't imagine a fucking PS2 game really requires that much. I've been playing it recently. It's a lot of fun. Has great characters. The classic gameplay that you know and love, unless you've never played one, then get Sky 1.
Is Disgaea D2 on
No, I think it's only on PS3.
Dude, Disgaea D2 is really good.
I just got it last week. My friend was getting rid of PS3 games, and they were like, "Do you want this for $5?" And I was like, "I'll take Disgaea D2."
I honestly can't find it, but I will suggest House in Fata Morgana is probably the go-to for any visual novel connoisseur. I'll find it sooner or later. I'll find it, and I'll let you know in the comments. Just hit me up. I'll remember it. Any other comments that stand out to you, Sir Spencer?
Just looking now. A lot of people haven't played Tales games. Looks like the Spencer Army.
I did notice that.
Hashtag Spencer Army. Everybody comment that.
That's a hashtag Spencer Army.
Hashtag Spencer Army.
Listen. Maybe Tales isn't as popular as I thought it was.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like it is, huh?
I think at events or anywhere you go, people will pretend like they like it more than it actually like it's one of those games like Trails of Cold Steel, where there's more people that pretend that they like it than they've actually played.
Yeah, I watched a playthrough of Persona 5. I'm a huge Persona fan.
Yeah, I really like. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing for Tales. It's like everyone on Twitter blows it up, but when it comes down to it, who's really played them?
It's true.
Who's really played them? I just want
to give a quick shout out to O. He said if I like games with religious themes, I should play Xenogears. I have not, so I will.
You've never played Xenogears?
No, I haven't. But I will.
Now, how? How are you going to play that game?
Off the PSN.
Okay. I think it's on PSN.
But you know what? Vita.
You should only play the first disc because the second disc is not good.
Okay. Let us know if you agree, O.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that's such a good game. It starts off with a rock, paper, scissors match.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
I love me some Junken.
Yeah. With
that's it for me. That's
it for me as well. I mean, I'll have a lot to talk about from PAX next week, so we can talk about my adventures.
Your little Azario's big adventure. I can't wait.
Well, have a good week, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Noisy Pixel.